Here in the Northern Rockies, we are fortunate enough to be able to see large carnivores in their natural habitat. We see grizzly bears, wolves, mountain lions in the wild, and that can mean in our backyard, it can mean in a wilderness area far from home, but whatever the case, we're lucky to share the landscape with these amazing animals. I'm Bryce Andrews, the Field Director for People and Carnivores. We're a small nonprofit group based in western Montana, and we work to reconnect and restore populations of large wild carnivores. Monitoring is a huge part of that work. We need to be able to see how the tools that we put in the field, things like livestock guardian dogs or electric fences, are working to change the behavior of large carnivore species. And we also need to be able to help the people we work with see how animals are using the places around their homes, ranches, and the places where they recreate. We can't be everywhere at once, so we use trail cameras to figure out how animals are using the landscape in our absence. Trail cameras are one of the most useful tools that we have at our disposal to figure out where these animals are and how to avoid conflict with them. The MPG Ranch near Missoula, Montana has been doing some really interesting work monitoring mountain lion populations and movement using trail cameras and tracking.
My name's Joshua Lisbon and I am the Education Director for MPG Ranch. I run a mountain lion population study on MPG, and we use trail cameras to understand population dynamics. So trail cameras are a fantastic tool to better understand how mountain lions use the landscape.
It's important for people to understand how to set up a trail camera. And it's a really simple process. The most essential parts of it are that you're going to want to find an area that is likely to see use by large carnivores.
So we chose this site because this is a high traffic zone. There's a lot of game trails. It's a travel corridor. It sees a lot of deer and elk activity and a lot of mountain lion activity as well. So it's a prime spot for us to be able to get some good footage.
And once you have that spot, you want to clean up the area. So you want to take away any loose small branches, things that might trigger the camera's motion sensor. And then you want to set that camera up at about eye level for the animal that you're wanting to document. Once you've done that, it's as simple as setting it to the right setting. So set your file size, figure out how you want that camera to take pictures, leave it alone for a few days to a week, and then come back and see what you've got.
We use these on kill sites and to track populations of mountain lions, but this is something that you can use at home. These are not expensive. This camera is under $200. And you can set them up in your backyard. You can set them up if you have a creek or a bird feeder, or if you're curious what's going on around where you live. These are a really cool way to get a glimpse into what's happening when you're not there.
You also want to make sure that you choose a camera with an infrared sensor, because so much of what large carnivores do and so much of their movement across the landscape happens at night. And you want to be able to document that without alarming or disturbing the animal. Another tool that we frequently use in combination with trail cameras is tracking. And winter is a fantastic time to use that tool, because in the winter, animals are leaving us this incredible record of everywhere that they've been. As we learn to read that record, we can begin to unravel how they're using the landscape and what we can do to limit conflict with them.
The tracking is really important for us because it tells a story, and we're able to follow the tracks, piece together the clues, and learn what's taking place on the landscape.
And winter is not the only time that tracking can be useful. It's important to be aware as you're moving across any sort of loose dirt or sand, or even on a dusty trail, that you might be able to get some information there about what kind of animals are around. It's important to be careful when you're following large carnivore tracks, because the one thing you know for sure is what's at the end of them. So always use caution when you're following the track of any large carnivore.
The tracking and the camera work, particularly with cats, has really opened a window for me into understanding their behavior and their social dynamics. And we're able to see things in the track record, from the genetics, and on film that we would never have seen otherwise.
When we're able to get a sense of how these animals use the landscape, when we're able to see where they go and what they do, it helps us, particularly those of us who have livestock or crops or outdoor pets, understand what we need to do to successfully coexist with them. With this information and a few adjustments to behavior, we can do a lot to make sure that wildlife stays wild and that humans avoid conflicts with wolves, grizzly bears, mountain lions, and other large carnivore species.